Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Wizards Outlook. Joined as always, Cardo W. Jr., Wilson Tarpe Jr., and Wizards held on to beat the Thunder 101 to 99, a snap, a losing streak they've had recently. They've been struggling. We're going to get a little bit more into this in just a second. Quick word from our folks over at Oohs and Ahs, of course, to start things off. Buy one, get one free late night cocktails at Georgia Avenue from 10 p.m. to midnight on Fridays and Saturdays. Those of you that's already in the city, you guys still got time. It just started. So you guys have a great night if you do stop by. All right, Ray, we'll start with you. Just your initial thoughts on this one as Washington gets a much needed win after starting this road trip with the help.
Yeah, man, they've finally got on the right side of the win loss column. They had been struggling of late. They've been in the midst of a road trip. So that they didn't get started on a good note the other night. So good to see them get a win here. They started slow again, man. Excuse me. They let another young team get a fast start and get some confidence. Luckily tonight they were able to stay within striking distance and eventually take the lead and win the game. During their comeback, in the second quarter, they didn't just go to their launching threes offense that they've been in the past couple games. They attacked the paint, they attacked guys closing out. They were more methodical, and they were able to pile up points. Yeah, man, that's like the type of thing we've been saying. Our shot selection and getting quality shots, it makes a difference. Against the Pelicans the other night, they didn't take good shots, and their lead kept growing and growing and growing for New Orleans. But tonight, they were able to be disciplined on offense. Daniel Gafford, man, he had an impact defensively. That's what he does for this team, and he had 7 blocks. And so yeah, when he's on like that, it makes a difference. And teams just aren't they got to think twice about it before attacking the lane. So yeah, man, that's just what he brings to this team. Overall, man, it's they just need to be consistent. We still haven't seen them put together a complete game in a while. They got this win by the skin of their teeth. The defense in the third quarter holding OKC to 14 points, man. That's that's the type of stuff we need to see from them. We saw it early on in the season. Their first few games, they able to just for a stretch put the clamps on teams, and that'd be enough for them to go ahead and get ahead. And so it's good to see them return to that, even if it's just for 12 minutes of the game. But yeah, man, at this point, we keep saying they just need to figure out who they are, figure out identity, and move forward and build on that. So yeah, man, a win is a win. I'll take it. But yeah, man, it's definitely some things to build on with this team.
All right, how about you, Cardo?
Yeah, they won. OKC plays a lot of. They play team tough. They're just young. They compete hard. They're young. They have talent. They just don't know how to win yet, and that's why their record is what it is. But the Wizards got to figure some things out. The lack of urgency to start the game is just not sitting well with me personally. It's annoying. Try to give it time. They try to figure each other out. But at this point in time of the season, you should already know how the type of energy you need to bring from over the tip. If it wasn't for Gafford in the first half, man, they'd have been in trouble. And then Kentavious Caldwell-Pope waking up offensively, and obviously Trey is gonna always be Trey. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to be in trouble. And what I mean by the lack of energy, you know what I mean, it is not just defensively. Grabbing balls, just doing the little things that help you win. And it seemed like they kind of got to get rocked or be close to getting rocked, and then okay, let's play. And that's just dangerous. That's just bad habits that you're building. And then what makes it compound the bad habits is when you win these type of games, you build a confidence that you can win this way. And it's like, no disrespect to OKC. You should, this is the type of game you should smack them. He's chilling at the fourth, getting ready for Dallas tomorrow. You know what I mean? And I always said they're a second round team in the playoffs if they defend. I can't really think of a game where they put together 4 quarters of strong defense yet. And this is what Wes Unseld was supposed to, not. I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying this is what he wanted to instill from day one. And that just come back to the players wanting to do this. I just don't understand why you coming out flat at 11-7. You know what I mean? It's just that's kind of mind-boggling to me, and I'm trying to pinpoint it. It's just tough to see. Like I said, I love what Gafford brought, man. 8 blocks, obviously his career high. Man, that's like getting 40 in the game. That's a hell of a defensive performance, man. And like I said, if he ain't had those blocks, those are buckets. we having a whole different discussion. Kuzma, I like how he didn't. He had a couple bad turnovers here and there, but he didn't force anything. He had a very solid, efficient game. 11 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He was on triple-double watch, and he was 5 and 9 from the field, so he didn't force anything. Bill, I like how the second half he got in the lane and drew the defense instead of forcing up shots that he would have forced up last year because he had to. He recognized Kentavious Caldwell-Pope had it going. Kuz was hitting shots. Let me get those guys involved. Let me get them the ball. You know what I mean? And, and Dinwiddie, solid, but he had a hard matchup tonight. He had a shot to deal with. You know what I mean? So a lot of his energy had to go to keeping that young boy in check, man. So, like I said, it was some positives. You know what I mean? But even Denny, he had a solid game, 9-4. If there were positives, but they can't keep having this lack of energy, man. I just don't understand that. Like it's a game, though. You're supposed to give everything you got. Like what are you holding back for? And then all of a sudden, when you back against the wall, now let's play and stuff against the better teams. It's not gonna work like that. They're gonna have you down the dub, and then it's a wrap. You know what I mean? You're not coming back. Even the Wizards, they fought back from the slow start, got a 10-point lead, then they faded back to the lackadaisical play, and then now you're in a dogfight all the way to the end. That shot was very close to stealing from you, and then we having a whole different conversation, man. So look, they got to win, but I don't see how you can be happy about this. I just don't, and especially when you know who you got to deal with tomorrow. That this ain't gonna do it. They're gonna beat the shit out you. You know what I'm saying? So they got to change something, man. And what I mean by energy, compete. 48. I'm not even tripping off the shots, man. The shots gonna fall. Y'all got enough talent. Compete. Do what you got to do to compete, and make the opposing team feel you, man. It shouldn't be guys just literally, damn near just running down the lane and just lay up, dunk, or kick out when you do want to rotate. Here you go, wide open threes and stuff. It's just too many lazy moments I see from this team, and they're too good for that. Too many veterans on this team, too experienced to be having that, man. And they saying culture change, but we still seeing signs of stuff before a lot of people that's on the roster now, coaching staff. We still seeing semblance of that from previous years. That stuff need to die. You know what I mean? If they really trying to make that leap and make the league and everybody who follow the NBA really respect them and consider them like, yo, all right, you got to deal with the Wizards of for real. You got to deal with them. Otherwise, it's just talk. And that's just my take from it. But we'll see how they adjust when we want to Dallas.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. It's a win. They've been losing, so you needed to snap the streak. But yeah, there's nothing to. This is not something to pat yourself on the back for being OKC, and then secondly being in a dogfight with OKC. Like you guys both mentioned, without Gaff and KCP in the first half, you would have been down bad in the first half. Both of those guys contributed on both ends of the floor. And then the other thing, even Cardo, what you just mentioned, I think it was 99, 97 or whatever. SGA gets the ball, like Shy walked down the middle of the lane that late in the game. Like he didn't do anything crazy, a little in and out, and the Red Sea parted. And then even then, need to be lucky. Like, and this is why there's nothing to be proud of. The timeout that was called late, if it was called on a rebound like it should have been, they inbound at half court. Dude, with 2.8 seconds, Shy got a decent look. If that ball does get inbounded at half court, like he got to where he wanted to for 4 quarters. Like it's there's no need to be in a game like this. But they don't even know how to win. Like, and that's the part. Like every time OKC had a chance to build on the things that were doing good, they do what young teams do. They do something stupid. So, like you guys both mentioned, if that's a veteran team, are you even back in the game after some of the stretches that you had? Yeah, and again, the biggest thing that jumped out to me, I forgot about Dallas tomorrow, is SGA got to where he wanted to. I mean, Lucas tomorrow.
And it's not even just Luka. Porzingis balling.
Yeah.
You back to Porzingis, you got to deal with that, man. You know what I mean? And that's a hard matchup for them because they don't really have somebody his size combined with the athleticism to deal with them. They got guys that are athletic, but they small, like Gav small compared to him. You know what I mean? And even SGA, I thought it was a bad move for the coach to call a timeout because I'll have let the SGA rock because they hadn't been able to stop him all game. You got them off balance. The defense ain't set. Go make something happen, young fella. Like this, what this year is about. Y'all got to learn. So learn how to close the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? So man, it's starting to become a habit. That's all I'm saying. The lack of urgency is starting to become a habit, and teams like that don't usually fare well as the season goes on.
Oh no, that's for sure. And man, just to see how they come out tomorrow, because you can't come out tomorrow slow. Dallas, you're gonna end up down bad, and I don't think they're gonna give you room to get back into it. But sticking with this one, player of the game. Carter, we'll start with you, then go to Ray.
I'm giving it to Gav. Like I said, 8 blocks. That's like 40 in the game, man. And without his defensive presence, this thing easily goes the other way. So I know Caldwell Pope hit shots, but his energy, man, he almost had a triple-double with blocks. You know what I'm saying? That's hard as hell to do. So I'm gonna give it to him.
How about you, Ray?
Yeah, I was on the fence between Gav and KCP. Cardell laid out Gav's impact, and it was huge, man. I know people would just kind of look and see he didn't even score in double digits, but what he did defensively was just as impactful, if not more, because when you're that much of a deterrent on defense, it gets teams second guessing themselves, and it changes things. So his presence was it was important, and for KCP, man, that stretch he had in the second quarter, without that, maybe they go into the half down double digits because he was really the only person that had it going offensively. So I got a co-player of the game situation going on tonight.
Yeah, I think the decision for both of them for me was just down to 2 people, but I'm going with you guys. 8 blocks is 8 blocks. And the other thing, I think we all mentioned, OKC got in the paint whenever they felt like it, whether it was Shy, whether it was Giddey, they were living in the paint. So you take Gaff off the board, it's not like someone else offered any resistance. I mean, KCP out of the perimeter players gave some resistance. That might have been the only one, but they were living in the paint. Giddey was getting that, man, what's it called? Poku was getting to the rim. He driving from 25 feet out. He's calmly getting to the bucket. They were down there. It's just that Gaff did what you're supposed to do when you're only big on the floor. He dominated defensively, and it was everything in this one. Because, again, they spent the night in the paint. Like, even when they got threes, and I give OKC credit, they got good-looking threes because, them guards, whoever, was getting deep paint touches. They 2 feet in the paint kicking out. Wide open looks. So, yeah, I'm with you guys on that one. Ray, X Factor, and then Cardell will go to you for it.
I went Trez this game. I feel like he's going to be that for this team on a lot of nights because that's pretty much his identity and role in the league. Again, we mentioned a slow start. He came in and kind of gave him some life. They were down, I believe, 7 or 10 early, and he was kind of just was able to come in off the bench and just inject some energy into the game for the Wizards. But yeah, man, if they're not gonna throw their first punch until Trez comes in off the bench, then that's a recipe for disaster for them. So they definitely got to fix that. But for tonight, I'll give Trez the X factor.
How about you, Cardell?
I'm rolling with KCP. He came in on the average of 9, shooting like 38% from the field. Score 20, and they need every bit of that 20. Score 20, 61% from the field, 57% from three. He was the X factor because he elevated his production that he on average brings every night, man. And they need every bit of it. Like I said, if you don't hit those shots, I don't know. I don't know where they kind of get it on. Who do you go to? Brad. I mean, he was cool. Maybe he get aggressive and try to see. And I also like KCP. I like that he didn't settle for a bunch of jumpers and threes. He actually attacked. And that fed him, got him in the rhythm, seeing the ball go on the basket. Then he started hitting threes, man. Simple basketball. So, like, for most nights, if he's playing like this and the Wizards play defense and, everybody else do what they do up to their ability, they're going to be a hard team to beat. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny, like Ray said, Trez is the X factor most nights because of his energy. You know what I mean? I think KCP is the X factor most part for the perimeter players. You know what I mean? Bill gonna get enough shots to do what he do. Kuz, and whether it's the right shot or not, he's gonna push shots up. You know what I'm saying? He gonna make sure he get his attempts up. Dinwiddie, we already know he clutch, man. He ain't scared of the big moment. He'll hit those shots. So Contavious kind of the defender, I'll get in where I fit in type guy. So if he's aggressive and he's putting in work and he's scoring and getting buckets. Who do you focus on? So, I think he's kind of X factor for, like I said, the guards on the perimeter.
Yeah, I think that's a great point for both of you guys. Both of those guys is a toss-up each and every night, kind of depending on what's happening in the game in terms of being the X factor. And tonight, you guys mentioned, I think Cardo, he's talked about earlier, Beal had to deal with Lou Dort harassing him, and Dinwiddie had to deal with Shea. And again, you take KCP away because he took advantage of what he was supposed to do. And we're not here. They're not winning this at all. And then the other thing, like you mentioned, he has to kind of be the most efficient out of those three that we're talking about, or 3 or 4 on the perimeter, because he's not going to get as many looks. So yeah, it was huge for him. And him, that's the one thing, like you guys mentioned with Trez on the perimeter, you don't have to worry about if he's I don't think there's been a game where like, man, I wish KCP, we caught him slipping on defense or something. Like, nah, he brings it on the end of the floor consistently. Like you guys said, him and Trez are consistent with what they bring. But yeah, tonight was huge because they were on the ropes a little bit in that first half without him getting going. And then even late, I know Bill got going late, getting to the basket and everything. A lot of that happened. It's hard pressed to ignore the fact that KCP hitting jumpers kind of opened things up a little bit for Bill to be able to drive. You couldn't leave KCP in the corner. He was making people pay for it. So yeah, it was a good game from KCP, Gaff, and Trez tonight. Like huge games for them. They don't get out of this without the contributions of those three. Like you guys mentioned, they got a big one tomorrow night in Dallas. It's a 4-game road trip. You're 1-1. I'm interested to see what the type of energy they come out with tomorrow. Because if it's what they've typically been coming out with, yeah, that's not a good way to get to get to the game 3 of this road trip. You know what I'm saying? Then you're coming back home. And there's games that you need because right now in the East, and even in your division, people are getting going. People are stringing together wins and whatnot. So, that 10-3 start, that was great. This little slide that you had, it's costly. So, I'm interested to see how that goes. You guys have anything you want to add before we close out?
Yeah, shout out to the Wizards on the free throw shooting. They were 100%, 15-15. They've been up and down all season with that. Came in, we're averaging, I think, shoot 78% on the season so far. So, again, those little things for like free throws, they missed the amount they normally miss, they lose this game. They did every one of them, and they made it count. So, shout out to them, man. Like I said, they bring the energy. Everything else will fall in place. It's just the lack of energy is here to me. But that's big time. 15-15. That's getting it done from the line.
Anything from you, Ray, before we close out?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, y'all have a good evening. Thanks for hanging with us after this Wizards game. As always, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. It's at 8:30 p.m. Eastern start time. So, I think we started today about 10:30. Throw 20 minutes on the end of that for tomorrow at the earliest with that later start time. Y'all have a great evening.